Hey there, troopers. This is Random Game Channel, and I'm back with another gameplay tips video. This will be for the medic. This will be version 2. So, for those of you that are new or returning to the channel, and if you don't know, I've been going back and kind of, revamping all my gameplay tips videos for the different classes for this game. So just doing that in preparation for full game release, which is going to be October 11th, 2024. So hopefully there aren't going to be too many major changes between now and from then. But hopefully what this video can do for you is give you a preview and an idea of what to expect from this class. Okay, now that the intro is done, let's actually move into what the medic is. Alright, so what the medic really cares about is keeping the troopers alive and healthy. So their job is to primarily keep everyone healed and revived. They can fight just as effectively as any other class, but their job is mostly for support. So let's take a look at some of the class abilities here. First one is Triage. Medic Coordination allows nearby downed troopers to survive for longer while they wait for medical attention. So normally when a trooper is downed by a bug, I think they usually have like 10 seconds or so before they bleed out and die for reals. And when they die, it consumes one reinforcement ticket. So if you don't know about a reinforcement ticket, depending on the difficulty mode that you have selected, when that reinforcement ticket pool is used up, you immediately lose the game and you go into extraction mode. Fight to get to the dropship and extract. So it's similar to like the ticket system that's available for use in the Battlefield games, if you ever played those. This is a shared life pool. So make sure you try not to die too much, because if you do, you're kind of taking up all the reinforcement ticket that's available to the team. So the activated ability is the medical drone. So what this is a trusty UAV that can be sent out into the field to rescue fallen troopers. I have a gameplay tip specifically for this medical drone, which I'll go over with you later. But what this is that all you need to do is hold down the activated ability button for the class ability. So for keyboard default, for me, it's going to be Q. So just hold that button down. You can rotate 360 degrees. You can look up, you can look down, you can look diagonal and all that. And then you'll notice that there's going to be like this yellow bar leading to where you're aiming at. And when it turns green, that means there's a nearby trooper that you can deploy the medical drone onto, and it takes just a few seconds to revive the trooper. So you get 3 charges, and then if you get downed while you have some charge on the medical drone, so it doesn't matter if you have 1, 2, or 3, it'll consume all available charges to revive you. So something to keep in mind, like it'll always try to revive you, but if you don't have any charges, you're kind of in trouble. So that's the medical drone. Normally, here, there's like this button you can click on for class unlockables to check your progression. But because this has already been max leveled, that's no longer available to us. This was like my first class that I fully leveled up. It's my most favorite class, so of course it has to be fully leveled, right? I've been playing this class since it first launched. I think version 7 of the game, I think. But I've always been playing as a support role, as a medic. You know, in the older versions of the game where there were only 3 classes like Hunter, Bastion, and Operator. I always played as the Operator because it's the closest you can get to the medic, right? But that's a little bit of history, right? So let's check out the primary weapons. So by default, each class has access to the Merida Mark I assault rifle. It's a well-rounded weapon. Recoil is pretty decent. Damage is pretty decent. And you can't really go wrong with this thing. Next one is going to be the E-Pulse 4482. So for this weapon, so let me just give you some more information here. So any weapon in the E-Pulse family is going to be able to over-penetrate, meaning you'll be able to hit anything behind the bug you're initially shooting at. It kind of just ignores armor, and it just takes a little bit longer time to reload this thing. So yeah. You're probably wondering why there's 3 extra weapons here. Let me tell you. So, you can unlock other weapons for other classes if you happen to max the XP tracker here. So as of right now, the max XP or the max level for each weapon is level 10. That could change in the future, I don't know. But as long as you max level a weapon, you'll be able to unlock it for all the other classes. And the only other requirement after that is you just need to be at the level that the weapon normally unlocks at. So I think for the Hawkeye, this normally unlocks at level 2 for the sniper. So if you level up the medic to level 2, you can start using the Hawkeye. Pretty cool. That may actually do that now because I've been meaning to experiment with this thing and see how well it does in this class. So side quests, do all that. So yeah. Okay, moving into secondary weapons. So for this class, you get access to 3 pistols. First one's going to be the Peacemaker. This one's a semi-automatic weapon that's really great at close to medium range. It's not really good at long range. The damage drop-off is going to be significant, and it's not going to be as accurate as, say, the Emancipator. So this thing can stagger a bug. It'll cause them to stop moving and recoil a little bit. After that, it's gonna just keep running at you. It's not gonna stop a bug from charging you. So for those of you that played Halo and you played with that sword, it's that sword lunge. So once it starts lunging at you, you're a goner. However, with the Emancipator, it has this hidden attribute called stun that whenever it hits something, it'll cause it to sit. Kind of like how you train a dog to sit. It'll sit and it'll just sit there for a second. And it'll expose the weak point, which you can make use of and deal bonus damage. So the Emancipator hits hard. single shot semi-automatic, just like the Peacemaker. It shoots a little bit slower. This thing's like a hand cannon. Great at long range. It's overall a great pistol to use. I often use this more than the Peacemaker. But what about this one? We haven't really seen this yet in any other classes. E-Pulse Pistol A1. So just like the other E-Pulse weapons, this thing can over-penetrate, meaning it'll hit stuff behind the initial target. Kind of just ignores armor. And the damage is, kind of low, but this thing's a fully automatic pistol. So, use it if you like it. If you don't, it's okay. It takes a little bit longer to reload this thing than the other pistols, at least in my opinion. Let's see, the stats. Oh, well, it does say it staggers a bug, but I can't really tell if it does. But kind of take that with an open mindset. So with the E-Pulse pistol, you're only going to be able to hit things at medium range. So anything greater than 40 meters, you're not going to hit anything outside of that range. It's just going to dissipate. That's just a limitation of this pistol. Okay, so that's the secondary. Let's move into the utilities. So first one we're going to talk about is the First Aid Stim Dart. This thing's amazing. You can use this to revive and heal troopers. You're only going to get one mag with 10 rounds by default. What else? It's going to be really hard to aim down sights with this thing because, as you can see, the iron sights on this thing is like abysmal. It's nothing really there. So as you can see here, you get the front sight and then you get the rear sight aperture here. It's very minimalistic, and I developed a pretty decent skill set by hip firing this thing. So there's that limitation to it, but man, this thing performs so much faster than the medical UAV and the First Aid Stim that you get from the First Aid Stim Fabricator, because you can shoot this at range. The only other downside is that you can't use it on yourself if you get downed. You also can't heal yourself with it. Next one is the First Aid Stim Fabricator. Every good medic should use this thing. So what this does is that you can deploy this on the field. That's interesting. I have never noticed this, that it has armor piercing of 1. Huh. That's interesting. But anyways, every good medic should use the First Aid Stim Fabricator. This will allow troopers to grab their very own set of First Aid Stims. So by default, they should always be able to carry up to 3. This will allow troopers to be more autonomous, take care and manage their own health, and they can use it to revive other troopers and heal them. So, this is a really good utility to use, and I highly recommend it alongside with the First Aid Stim Dart. Next one is the Heal Beacon. This one isn't as popular, but it's still pretty useful. So this is like a beacon you can deploy on flat surfaces, vertical surfaces, and, well, I think vertical surfaces, but definitely horizontal ones. This will heal allies every 10 seconds. You have a range of 15 meters. So this gradually heals troopers over time. It pairs really well when you place it next to a Guardian. Oh, sorry, my neighbor is playing their flute again, so let me close my door here just in case you can hear it. Sorry about that, folks. So this is the heat beacon is very useful if you place this next to a guardian, and if they're in their siege mode, this basically makes them almost unkillable. So that's something useful to use. However, the best ones in my opinion are going to be the first aid stim dart and the first aid stim fabricator. Next one on the list is the speed stim fabricator. So what this thing does is similar to first aid stim. It'll allow troopers to carry up to 3 stims with them, except that when you use it on yourself or another trooper, it just increases their move speed. And this can stack up to 3 times on a single trooper. I don't really know the use of this thing. Like, I mean, it's cool to move fast, but I feel like as a medic, it doesn't really help the team all too much because it's not healing or reviving anybody. Of course, that's just my opinion. If you really like using the speed stim fabricator, don't let me stop you. Remember, do stuff that gonna make you have the most amount of fun in this game. That's the most important part, right? Okay, so the next one is the Guardian UAV. This is a tiny little robot with a machine gun. I mean, look how cool this thing is, man. So, this is a defensive flying robot with a sentry gun. It lasts for 3 minutes. You can send it into guard mode or to follow you. And so in guard mode, you just send it out to wherever you're aiming at and it'll guard that position. Useful if you need to take out a long-range gunner, grenadier, inferno, or if you want to use it to help lock down a kill zone or guard an objective. So it's useful. I hear a lot of people like using it for that purpose, but for me, I'm into 100% support, so I'm always rocking the first aid stim dart and the first aid fabricator. However, this thing only shoots at bugs within 40-meter radius, and it needs to recharge the ammo after 30 seconds, so it's not going to be able to continuously firing. It needs to take a break too. So that's the Guardian UAV. Grenades. We're gonna first talk about MX-90. So by default, every class will have access to this. Pretty decent grenade. Blast range is 7 meters, so pretty good spread. Damage is pretty good. 3-second fuse timer. So if a bug's running at you, you probably want to throw this at your feet, and hopefully by the time it detonates, it kills the bug before it kills you. Next one is going to be the shock grenade. This is a tactical grenade that stuns bugs with a powerful discharge of electricity. So it explodes on impact. Very high stun. It doesn't cause any damage, at least none that I can see. Though some people say it does deal damage, but I have noticed from my experience it doesn't do anything. So this one, when I first started playing with the shock grenade, like I wasn't really impressed with it, but after a while, I actually kind of grew to really like this thing. It adds and lends to a more supporty build, which I like. I'll leave all the killing to the other troopers because that's their job. My job is to make sure everyone's staying alive, and stunning bugs will help you keep the people alive. Also, it makes it easier for you to get into the middle of a bug scrum if you need to, you know, use the first aid stim to heal someone or revive them. Next one is the chem grenade. So for this one, blast radius is 6 meters. It deals damage over time, and it lasts for 60 seconds. So when this thing explodes, it just makes a yellow cloud of stinky gas that the bugs don't like. It slows down their movement, and they take a lot of damage over time. Really great to use if you throw it in a kill zone or anything like that where the bugs are going to be congregating a lot in. But that's the grenade. Moving into the perks. A little bit limited, but we'll go over the first one. So the first one I consider to be pretty useful. So for this one, I like equipping this all the time because it gives me +2 mags, 2 pistols. So for example, let's take a look at the first aid stim dart. It's classified as a pistol, so it's going to be giving me extra mags, which means extra stim darts, which means I'll be able to use this more often to heal and revive troopers. So that's the perk. Next one is on your feet. Whoa, look at that, I shouted. A little bit of a jump scare, huh? So for this one, you can revive troopers at a distance by literally shouting at them. Ability to revive troopers from a distance. Time to revive increases with the distance, so that's something you want to keep an eye out on. So, say for example, you're inside a bunker, it's completely surrounded by bugs, entrance is closed off because there's too many bugs, as soon as you step out you die. But you notice that a trooper died right on the other side of the bunker that you're on, like they're outside, right? First aid stim, you can't reach them because you need to be next to them. The stim dart, you need to have clear line of sight, you can't see them. Medical drone, you can't reach them because it gets stuck inside the bunker. So what do? You yell at them. So with this, you don't necessarily need to have a clear line of sight. I think as long as you can see like their icon that they're downed, you should be able to use on your feet to revive them. This is going to be the same button that you use to interact and revive troopers normally with a default revive action. So that's going to be, for me on the keyboard, it's going to be E. So just hold it down until the progress wheel is complete and they should be revived. It has its uses, but I like to keep this equipped just in case that situation ever comes up. Because every life counts. One extra trooper will mean one extra trooper to help you kill the bugs. Next one is Utility Satchel. This will add +1 to all your utilities. So, First Aid Stim Fabricator, Heal Beacon, Stim Fabricator. I'm not sure of the Guardian UAV, but it should. Keep in mind, it's not going to count for the First Aid Stim Dart because it's classified as a pistol. So let's go back to the perks. Last one is Bug Deterrent. Every good medic should equip this. When you have it equipped, you'll just think of it as spraying yourself with stinky cologne that no one likes. The bugs will prefer to attack other troopers. That's cool. You're going to be safe as long as there's other troopers nearby. Occasionally, if you shoot out a bug too much, it might actually decide to attack you, but most times they're going to run towards other troopers. Now, that sucks for the other troopers because they're going to be the ones targeted. But hey, you're the med, you'll be able to revive them, right? Just be on top of that. Use your environmental awareness. Make sure you keep everyone's health topped off and you keep people up and moving. So that's the class preview and unlockables. Gameplay tip number 1 is going to actually be how to survive. So the bugs are going to be pretty deadly, right? They're going to be chasing people down left and right, up and down, diagonal, everywhere, you name it. So how do you survive in this chaos, right? Well, first thing you want to do is equip the pheromone perk. It's going to keep the bugs off your back. And then what I like to do is I position myself either in the middle of the group or at the rear. I always try to stay next to another trooper so that pheromone perk works. Make sure that you equip the first aid stim from your first aid stim fabricator. Kind of try to reserve that for yourself to heal yourself. Use the medical drone to revive the other troopers because honestly, you want to kind of keep other people alive because the pheromone perk is going to force the bugs onto them. Next thing is that just try to make sure you always have one charge on your medical UAV because if you go down, it'll use that to revive yourself. And the last most important part, try not to fight in the front. It's not really your job to do the bulk of the fighting. If you push out too far ahead of the other troopers, you're not going to know what's going on behind you. For all you know, the bugs could have eaten everybody else and you're the only one alive. So again, you know, that's environmental awareness. You want to constantly be on the lookout for anybody that's hurt or dying. So that's gameplay tip number 1. Gameplay tip number 2. The 5 methods a medic can revive a trooper. So the first one's obviously going to be the medical drone. You have 3 charges. It'll take a few seconds to revive someone. It's a renewable resource. But the downside with this is that it can't keep up with mass casualty events. So if 5 people are down, there's no way the medical drone is going to be able to keep up with that. Because it takes a few seconds to, revive someone. It's not really good at reviving multiple troopers at a time. So yeah. The next one is going to be just a default revive with your interact key. So that's going to be, for me on the keyboard, it's default to letter E. That's always available. It's a very slow revive rate, and you need to be right next to the trooper. So that's the limitations. Plus side is you can do it as often as you want. Next one is going to be on your feet. So this one, you can consider it as a long-range version of the default revive action. Just keep in mind, the revive rate is going to increase with how far away you are. Just like I was saying earlier, in the other game play tip, well, not the tip, but like the class preview. You don't really need a clear line of sight to down trooper. As long as you can see the icon or something like that, you should be given a prompt to revive them through on your feet. So yeah, always available for you to use. Next one is going to be the first aid stim fabricator. So this needs to be used right next to the trooper. So it's an instant revive is going to put them at full health. Default revive, medical UAV, and on your feet will also reset them to full health. So yeah, this thing's great to use. You can have up to 3. If you have the utility perk equipped, you'll be able to carry up to 4. The last way that you can revive a downed trooper is with a first aid stim dart. Like I was saying earlier, it's super hard to aim down sight with this thing. So, I think it might be easier to hip fire this thing. It'll definitely take some time for you to develop the skill to effectively use this thing. But after a while, it won't be that much of a problem. So yeah, I definitely recommend equipping, where is it? Oh yeah, nope. It's the perk. I definitely recommend equipping the magazine bandolier perk because, like I was saying earlier, it gives pistols +2 mags, which you can see here. And if you go back to first aid stim dart, it's classified as a pistol, so you'll get a ton of darts to revive and heal people with. So with the first aid stim dart, I believe it's only going to revive a trooper with a quarter of their health. But the trade-off is that the first aid stim dart is going to be the fastest way to revive a ton of troopers all at once. So again, mass casualty event, no problem. Whip out the first aid stim dart, you'll get them all up and running. So yeah. Next one, tip number 3. The ideal conditions on when to revive a trooper. So ideally, you want to only revive a trooper if it's safe for you to do so. Say, for example, you're not using the first aid stim dart and you only have the medical drone and you have the first aid stim. Medical drone you could send out remotely, but if you need to use the first aid stim, you need to get close to them. So if it's super crowded down there, like there's a lot of bug activity, I wouldn't recommend just jumping down there because there's a really high chance that you'll die too. And then there goes the medic, right? That will severely hinder the operation of the team. So ideally, the area that you want to revive in should be free of bugs, or there should only be a low count of them. However, realistically, most of the time, the area is going to be completely infested. So just make sure you provide covering fire after the trooper is revived, if you do revive them. Just make sure you don't die in the process, because that'd be terrible, because if you have no charges left and you go down, you're not going to be able to revive yourself with a medical UAV drone. Tip number 4. How to increase your offensive capability. To do this, I recommend equipping the Guardian UAV, which, that's not that, it's a utility, which is seen here, Guardian UAV. As far as I know, this thing has like near infinite range. It can be deployed at long-range locations where grenadiers, infernos, and gunners are often occupying. So that'll help you kill the bugs on behalf of the team. Also, you can deploy it to provide cover fire for you when you need to revive a trooper, or you can use it to guard an objective. You can also place it in a kill zone, which will help the team just like kill bugs overall. Another thing that you should consider is the grenade. So if you want to increase your offensive capabilities, I don't recommend using the shock grenade and perhaps using the MX-90 grenade or the chem grenade. So that'll help you kill bugs faster. Tip number 5. Ways to heal a trooper. So the ways that you can heal the troopers is, well, first one is going to be the medical drone. I'll go into more specific details in another gameplay tip, which I'll go over soon. But know that the medical drone can provide passive healing. It starts with the medic, so it'll start with you, and then once you're fully healed up, it'll start trying to passively heal other troopers that are near you, one at a time, so whoever is closest. Next one is going to be the first aid stim dart. So I think this only heals a quarter at a time. And then the next thing that can heal troopers is the first aid stim that you get from the first aid stim fabricator. It'll do a full heal, so you don't need to worry about using multiple on a trooper. Next one is going to be the heal beacon. I think this also does a quarter at a time. I'm not too sure because I don't really use this all the time. So if you do use this, you definitely need to look into that on your own and see how well that performs. So those are the ways in which a medic can heal troopers. And I just want to give an extra tip. The first aid stim that you get from first aid stim fabricator, if you're on fire, if you happen to jump in lava or you're set on fire by the inferno bug, you're going to need to use multiple at a time. Usually you need to use all 3 just to keep yourself alive or keep another trooper alive that's been set on fire, because the damage per second that the fire produces is pretty significant, I think. Depending on how long you take a dip in the fire and how close you got to it. Something to keep in mind. Okay, looking at my notes, we're gonna move into tip number 6. That's gonna be the best game mode to practice your medic skills and to practice your environmental awareness. So, refresher, what the heck do I mean by environmental awareness? Environmental awareness is just your ability to look around the battlefield to know where you're at, where the troopers are at, where the bugs are at. As long as you can keep an eye on those things, you should be able to do fine. And just make sure you look around at the troopers and make sure their health is topped off, and that if anyone is downed, that you go and try to revive them. So don't get stuck looking in one direction all the time. Don't get stuck in, doing combat all the time. Remember, your job is to heal and revive troopers. And a good medic is like so vital in this game because the bugs are just so deadly. So medics are incredibly useful on a team. One trooper by themselves, if they're really good, they can support the entire team. But of course, if you have multiple medics, it's always a lot better because it takes the pressure off the lone medic. So yeah. So that's what I mean by environmental awareness. But the best game modes to get some practice on is Hive mode or Hive Hunt, Advanced and Secure or AAS, and Arc mode. So why these? So with these game modes, there's a higher opportunity for troopers to go down from a bug attack, because they're going to be moving out on the field more, going after objectives. Whereas with Horde Survival mode, it's mostly base defense. People typically don't start to die until like wave 5 to 10. So like the first half of the game, troopers are going to be relatively safe and they shouldn't really be dying all too much. So you probably won't get too much practice out of Horde Survival. It's a longer format, anywhere between 20-30 minutes. That's how long the match lasts. So yeah, that's the best game modes to practice in. Let me take a look at my notes. Let's see. Alright, so let me just switch gears here real quick and do a quick pause so I can put on some gameplay clips to help demonstrate the next two gameplay tips I want to show you. Hey there, troopers. So I loaded up into the VR training simulator, and I just kind of want to give a demonstration on how to use that medical UAV drone, because it doesn't really tell you the intricate details that are pretty vital to how to use this thing. So first thing first is I want to kind of show you how to hold down the class ability button, how that works and all that. So for me on the keyboard, by default it's going to be the letter Q, so I'm going to hold it down. Now you notice this kind of like yellow orange bar and this like circle pops up. So anything within the circle is going to be revived, but it'll only revive one trooper at a time. And this yellow bar that you can see here will help you kind of aim where you want to send this drone at. So as you can see, the range is pretty far. Like you can go to the other side of this little valley that we're in. You can pivot 365 degrees, or 360 degrees, no, 365. It's getting late over here. You can look up, you can look down, you can look side to side. So when you're ready to launch the UAV drone, you just let go of the button. Look how far that drone went. So you can see that the range on this thing is pretty far. You also get 3 charges represented by a diamond icon right above the medical UAV drone icon. So we used 1 charge. Here's what it looks like at close range. So you notice that once it's deployed, it produces this green color. Typically that's only really used for like if someone's there and able to be revived. Otherwise it should remain as this yellow-orange color. So in between charges, if you're not using all of them, it'll start to reaccumulate, refresh itself over time. So as you can see, we have up to 2 charges again. Now we're up to 3. So let me just show you how far you can actually send this medical UAV. And then point it right at the sky. I mean, look how far that thing goes. That's pretty dang far, right? So another tip that I been seeing in the official community Discord is that if you have a scoped weapon equipped, like for example this Hawkeye, you hold down the class ability button, you can kind of pinpoint where this thing is. Wonder what that is. Boot camping. Huh. That's weird. There's nothing over there. Weird. But anyways, you get this more scoped in version, right? So it should allow you to be a little bit more accurate with where you're placing this thing. So let's see what happens when I let go. Look at that. It feels a little more accurate. Also, you need to be careful because rocks like this, low elevation obstacles can get in the way of you sending out the medical drone. So if I want to send the drone to the other side of this rock and I'm looking directly at it, or let's try here, let's see what happens. See, it kind of gets stuck on the rock. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to fly over it. Okay, so let's try just jumping over, or just jumping and then releasing. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it still gets stuck. Okay, so as you can see, if we aim it just right and we jump over it, it does help a little bit. So if you're having a hard time using the medical drone and you want to like aim it down somewhere more specific, try jumping. That could help you launch this in the right location. What else? I think that's about it. Just for funsies, I'm just wondering if we can launch this inside. Wow, you can actually deploy it inside the dropship. That's really cool. But other than that, that's all I had for this particular section. Hopefully I can find an actual gameplay tip of me using this. And hopefully I have a clip that I can share with you where I actually get downed and get revived by my own medical drone. So let's check it out. Let's see if I have anything. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you get downed, when you get killed by a bug. And then if you have any charges, it doesn't matter if you have 1, 2, or 3 charges. As long as you have at least one, your medical UAV drone is gonna revive you. So this is what it looks like, and it only just takes like a few seconds for it to go through. But then what you need to keep an eye on is like not dying again, because it does take some time for the for the charges to recover. And as soon as it comes back up again, you're ready to rock and roll. So that is how self-revive looks like with a medical UAV drone. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you're trying to revive another trooper using the medical UAV drone. So when you use it, you might see like this yellow line. That indicates that it's being deployed to a location where it can't reach a trooper. But as soon as you position it where there's a trooper that it can reach, it's going to turn into like this green color, like this bright green color. So when you have the bright green color like right here, that means that's going to be able to revive a downed trooper. Again, that's going to take a few seconds for it to go through. And if you really want confirmation that you revived someone, make sure you have the XP tracker on, because it'll give you an indication that you successfully revived someone. Alright, Trooper, so check this out. Passive healing is still a thing with the medical UAV drone. This can occur on any difficulty mode. This was recorded on hard difficulty mode. And I tried to find a spot where there was no other medics doing medic things. There's one nearby, but they're mostly just fighting. So for this one, I want to give a big shout out to Elmat0 and Centuron. There are some outstanding community members in the official Discord for this game. So if you ever see them, say hi. They're pretty knowledgeable. But anyways, passive healing, right? So for passive healing, the medical UAV drone will passively heal the medic first, and then once the medic is fully healed, it's going to go to the closest trooper and start healing them. So keep an eye on our health bars. So iRage's health bar and my health bar. It'll be highlighted in this light blue box on the bottom left hand of the screen. So keep an eye on our health bars, and you'll see that the medical UAV drone will first heal me up all the way, and then after my health bar is fully healed, then it'll start healing iRage passively. Now right here, the top left, you'll see that there's other troopers that are kind of damaged, and I think the medical UAV drone was kind of healing them too, because their health bar kind of went up and recovered over time. So that's just something I've been really interested in figuring out, and with Elmat0's and Centron's help and advice, I was able to record this for everyone. So again, if you want to see the full gameplay footage of this and see me playing this on actual hard mode difficulty, this is just a clip here. I'll link the video into this video's description so that you can check it out. So you can, confirm for yourselves that, like, random game channel ain't just, talking out of their butt, right? So there you go, troopers. That's all my gameplay tips for the medic. Hopefully it helps you out. Give you a good preview of, what this class is, what it does. And if you ever have like a question about the classes, or you're confused about something, you need some advice, you can always reach out to me in the comments, and I'll try to see what I can do to help you out. Alright, well, I'm going to let the rest of this clip play, but thanks for tuning in to this episode. I appreciate everyone's time. This has been Random Game Channel, and I'll catch you all later. See you in the field, troopers.